Good evening, everyone. Welcome and welcome back. Tonight, we're going to be doing a throwback flip through. So, I started my channel about almost a year and a half ago. It was a year on June 1st. That's when I really started doing collage and art journaling and that kind of thing. Now, the last one I did was this one here called For the Love of Our Gold. And it's about the story of this young man here who was trying to reach this young lady who is Aragold. He fell in love with her because when he would go through the forest, he would be able to hear her singing. But she's in another dimension. So in order to reach her, he's got to go through this portal to reach this portal. Now he does have a guide, but he's not quite sure he can trust the fox. But once he enters this portal, he will no longer be able to hear her. So, does he take the chance going through this portal to reach this one? If he doesn't make it, he will not be able to return, and he won't be able to ever hear her again. So he's got a decision to make. So as you can see, he's not real happy. So that's the last one we did. But what we're going to do is go through some old ones that I've created. This one was done last year at Halloween, and it was called The Spider Princess. And I showed you how to get spider webs strung up in strategic areas of your art journals. And that's just spider webs you can buy in the store. So this is the Spider Princess. There is a video for this one if you want to see how we did it or how I did it. There is no royal we here. This is one I did. This was November of 2024, and you can see I had 378 subscribers. So thank you so much for all you viewers out there, subscribers, anyone who comes to visit and check things out. You do make this channel grow. So at that time I had 61 videos. So that was a thank you presentation that I did. This one was done last autumn. And it has all the beautiful fall foliage, cozy fireplace, the winding road going to visit relatives, sweaters, all the things that make for cozy. This was my favorite time of year is autumn. This next one is the otters. And I do have a video on this, and I show you, he's actually just standing here. So I show you how to make it look like he's in water and how to use the gel pen to look like he's under there. So that's our little guy from Maremi's Small Art. All of this imagery is from her books. So I showed you how to get the otters to blend. This is 4 different pages that are blended together, and it's called the otters, and I show you how to do that. This one is one that I did as more vintage, and it is called Firefly. There is a video on this one as well. It's got some stamping, some scraps. This next one was done from the Roaring 20s, from the Gingerbread Prince book. All about these ladies in the Roaring 20s. This one here was a play page that I did. There is no video. It took me about 3 hours because I went through my stash. I really took my time in placement and trying to make it beautiful. This one here is also a play page that took me several hours. And I had an old envelope. It was actually a wedding invitation that I took apart and saved those die-cut envelope edges. This one also is a play page that I did with scraps. I did with good images, torn, cut, some stickers and seals. So this was a play page as well. Sometimes I will do play pages. Here's another play page where I will just spend hours putting things together, putting layers down, corners, layers on top of layers to add interest and intrigue. This was one where I actually added real baby's breath too. There is a video on this one. I'm trying to think of the name of it. And I'm not thinking of what it is. But there is a video on this young lady, all vintage, showing how you can use scraps on edges and how to incorporate stickers as well as actual papers. There's a video on this one. It's called Dreams. It is a Maremi small art. Now I did do this on black background for maximum effect. And I used the butterflies. I used the industrial personas and the florals, as well as a butterfly embellishment. So there is a video on this one. It's called Dreams. This little lady too is from their personas. This next one was a scrap challenge that I did with Maremi's small art scraps left over. This was before I got a good scrap pile going. So I have much more to my scraps now than I did before. I do still use the scraps. And if you guys are interested in seeing me do nothing but scraps, leave me a comment below and I will work that out for you. This particular one was called Crashing the Moon, where these little boys let off their rocket. It accidentally hit the moon and split it apart. And so all this was inside the moon. And I show you how to get away with that, showing the rocket hitting the moon and the pieces flying off. And we've got a casual observer. So this is the images from Maremi's small art, her autumn stories, as well as the industrial personas. This one here, I believe this one is Mushroom Village. There is a video on this, and I show you how to get the houses up into the mushrooms. This one, the mushroom came up over the house. So I show you in that video exactly how to do that. And we hung a swing on the inside of this flower. So I show you how to get that swing on there. So that one's Mushroom Village. This is another play page of scraps and images, more vintagey. This next one is called Pink Frost. I did this last year near Christmas time. And I show you how to use images and scraps around edges, how to combine scraps and edges that are a little bit decorative. This is off of a bigger piece. So we've got torn bits, images within images, some stickers. This beautiful guy right here, this stag. So that one, if you want to see the video on it, is called Pink Frost. These next ones are a project I did for work, and it was a Willy Wonka theme. And so I made signs to put around the lobby of our bank. We turned it into Willy Wonka's factory. So these are the images that I did for that particular project at work. Here's another one from that same project. Willy Wonka. These are all sayings from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And I showed you how I use stickers to get some of the effects. I used some mushrooms from Maremi's small art. Here's another one. And we decorated our lobby like Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. We had big lollipops everywhere. Candies. We made candies out of balloons and wrapped them up in cellophane and ribbons. So these projects were not filmed. Actually, I did film the end result, but I did take my time. Each of these probably took 2 hours. Maybe an hour and a half if I rushed through it. So all of these are sayings from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. This next one is called The Rainmakers, and I used Maremi's small art, one of her industrial books, and I showed you how to get the moon in the window behind the door frame, and showed you how to get that background as well, adding some clouds and some smoke and some dripping from her water can, the faucet, and this water can. So there is a video on this one. It is called The Rainmakers. Now this is one that was a random pick that I practiced on. So I took something from every part of my stash, put it together, and tried to make it work. And so these are the images that I put together. Some scraps, some stickers, some random papers. So this was a random pick that I tried to make work. This next one is called Lady Eleanor. There is a video on this one that shows you how I put the pieces together, how I decided what went where. And how to put images on top of images with some stamping and some more stamping. So these images are from the books by Lisa Wang from the Gingerbread Prince. This next one is called What Lies Beneath. So this was an octopus going after an old 17th century ship, guarding his treasure. And I showed you how to put those images together. Under the sea with some brightly colored fish. These gems I did add myself. But there's a video on this one, and it's called What Lies Beneath. Now this one here is one that I call Legacy. There is a video on it. There was one night that I woke up at 2 in the morning and I had an idea that to put myself back to sleep, I needed to do some collaging. So that's what I did here. This one's called Legacy. All about memories, family, time. And I showed you how to get those clock hands on there. These are actual real clock hands. You can get those at some craft stores. So it's all about layering. So I took you guys on my I can't sleep jaunt at 2 in the morning, and that's what I ended up with. I should probably do more at 2 o'clock in the morning when I can't sleep. This is one that I did from Maremi's Small Art, and it is from Moss Stories, Fairies in Bloom, and then the floral books as well. So I showed you how to get the sleeping fairy in the flower. We've got a little fairy here and a guy that's just walking across the top of some of the images. This was a fun one, and I'm trying to think of the name of it, and I can't remember. But there is a video on this one. You may recognize the thumbnail if you peruse my playlist. This next one was a challenge from someone that watches my videos, and this one is called The Proposal. So I told her if she was the first, well, I told everyone if they were the first to comment or if they were able to guess the story behind the collage I was building called Yesteryear. Then I would do whatever they challenged me with. So Miss Contita was the winner of that challenge, and her challenge to me was fairy tale. So this is the images that I came up with for her challenge for fairy tale. So we've got some embellished edges. We've got a young lady who's been given a proposal of marriage. And she is about to be the queen of this kingdom. And all the animals in the forest are so excited. She's about to accept the proposal. So this was a fun one if you want to catch it on how I put all these images together. This next one is very special to me. It's called Adoption. Now these images are from Maremi's Small Art. And this particular one, she had blue eyes, but I changed her eyes to brown because those are the color of my eyes. So this particular piece was about my adoption. So I go over that story as I'm making it and telling exactly why I did the collage that I did here. So it's about my story. So that's what that one looks like. This one is called the Black Crow, or Dark Crow. I'm sorry, Dark Crow. So, Dark Crow is a 17th century Spanish galleon that crashes through the space from the Bermuda Triangle. So if you want to see how you get a ship to crash through paper, watch that one. It's called the Dark Crow. And I will show you how I put these elements together and crashed this ship all the way through. There's a technique that you use in order to get that to work. So this particular ship was lost in the Bermuda Triangle on its voyage carrying treasures back to Spain. And she got lost in the Bermuda Triangle and crashed out into another dimension. So that's what this one was. This one here was a challenge as well. So this challenge was to take images from, I want to say, all the books I had at that time. I took an image from each book. So this collage is all about putting all those images together from the books at that time that I owned. And I did do a video of this. I'm not sure what I named it. I probably should have looked up these names before I started this video. But it shows you how I took all those images and decided how to put those together. And that's why it looks like a mix and a mash of all different sorts of images, because it actually is. So I wanted to challenge myself and do that. This one here is a very old one when I first started out. But it's also a, what is the word I'm looking for? I took a bunch of things from different areas of my stash, random pick. That's the phrase I'm looking for. So all these images are a random pick to see, can I get pink and gold to look good with everything else? I used washi tapes, double washi tapes, stickers, papers, all sorts of things. So that was an old random pick that I put together. Here is another random pick. Sometimes I like to challenge myself by doing random picks to see how much trouble can I get myself into and can I make it work? And how long does it take to make it work? So you see things like a word bubble, you see things like vintage papers. I use techniques like how to get scraps to make it look like this is separated into two and it's the background showing through when it's really not. And so a lot of times I will take these things and just play and see, can I get it to work? Here's one that I did last year. There is no video on it. It's just a collage of images, most likely during Halloween of last year. And I have bits and pieces and scraps. This may have been, I'm trying to think of what constellation that was. That may actually be the Virgo constellation. Here's another random pick. Sometimes I will do a random pick on myself just to see if I can get the scraps to work. The stickers and the colors, the combinations. So that's why you see all sorts. Again, if you guys want me to do a random pick, just totally random from my stash, just leave me a comment and I'll be happy to do that for you. Here's another one. I play with tearing. I play with stamping. Techniques of using embellished. So this is another random pick. Separating two papers on opposite ends so you get some balance. Two papers on opposite ends for balance. This is a really odd random pick. As you can see, this was the constellation Taurus. And I had in my stash some people from a cruise magazine. Got some washi tapes, some wooden embellishments. So you can see what I get up to when I'm not filming. I play a lot. Although I have not played in a very long time. Now this random pick was actually filmed and I picked something from every part of my stash. There was no part of my stash that was not touched with these images here. The only thing I did not touch in actuality is my Maremi small art books. So I didn't go into those. But from all different areas of my stash, stickers, papers, some word sayings, all sorts of things, and I had them in a jumbled mess. And you got to see on film me do this random pick. And it's called The Land That Time Forgot. So that's what the video is called if you want to look for that and watch me pick out blindly the images and things and then watch me put them together. This is another one I did on my own. About a princess. and a kingdom. So I did this one on my own as well, playing with stickers and scraps, placement, tearing, cutting, and background papers that have embellishment on them. Here's another one I did on my own. So this one does not have a video either. Most of these images come from the gingerbread prints. From Royal Velvet Christmas is the title of that particular one that I used. And then I have some old folk books, fairy tale books that I got for a couple of dollars that I just tear up and use the pages and the writing. And you can see I use those as backgrounds. Here's another one I did on my own. And this, the background, is pages of an old Bible that fell apart. So instead of throwing it away, because it's all fallen apart, I use the pages in the backgrounds of some of my collages. This one was a Maremius small art, and I do have a video on this one. And so I showed you how to get the water to splash on the window, how to do a waterfall. I showed you how to get the fairy in the ocean and the bottle in the ocean. And then inside the bottle is a message. I showed you how to get that message in there. Now the message says creative, and I can't quite read the other side of it. But it may be creative whispers or something along those lines. So there is a video on how I put all these images together, how I got those images embedded in the ocean. We had a fun time with that one. This is one that I dedicated to my mom for her birthday. Her birthday was July 5th. So she loves irises. And I did some stenciling with some silver paste, and I show you how to do that. So that one was filmed. It's called Dedication to My Mom. This next one is called Mushroom Forest. There is a video on this one. And I show you how to take a very busy background and isolate with some acrylics, some foggy areas to try and dampen the busyness of some of these images back here. So how you can get a busy background to work for you. And then I show you also how I got the houses onto the mushrooms. And I show you also how to get the little guy inside that mushroom. So if you want to see that video, that one's called Mushroom Forest. This one here is from images of the gingerbread prince. And This is Verdant Emerald, I believe is the name of the book. Not quite sure what I named this video, but there is a video on this one. And I did use a gold embellishment and real baby's breath. So I have to be careful. I had to use up all my baby's breath because it was dried from a floral arrangement that I had been given. But I found out afterwards that it's poisonous to cats. And that's the one thing he wanted to eat. So this particular one, there is a video on this one. It's called Kingdom of Sand and Stone. And it's about the Egyptian Empire. This one does have a video attached to it. And this is from Maremi's Small Art. So you can see the gold that I've painted on their watercolor. This one's called Forest Shine, I believe, is what I named it. And I showed you how to get the sleeping fairy on the crescent moon itself behind this bubble. And then we've got this beauty that's just resting and some more watercolor. So there is a video on this particular one. And the last one I did was the Black Widow. And these images are from the Gingerbread Prince, Shadows of the Lost Heart. So I showed you how to get the letter behind the emblem here that was flat on the page. I showed you how to cut around that to get the letter inserted. Showed you how to get the jewel in the claw of the raven. And then I showed you also how to get the woman in the hourglass. So if you want to catch that video, it's called The Black Widow. And again, that book that is a Gothic book called Shadows of the Lost Heart. So those are all the throwbacks that I've done in the past that you may or may not have seen, some that have been videotaped and some that have not. So thank you so much for joining me. My next project is going to be done out of the Autumn Stories from Maremi's Small Art. And I've got a surprise there. It's more of a Halloween theme because I found in one of her other books, her Animalia books, I found some bats. So we're gonna combine images from, I believe, 2 or 3 different books on my next project that I will do and release this weekend. So come back and join me. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next one.